welcome to our very first broadcast out of Davos on the occasion of the WEF's annual meeting 2011. I have with me Anand Mahindra, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Mahindra & Mahindra, and it somehow has become tradition. We open our programming with you every year. So thank you for joining us again this year. Mr. Mahindra, let me start by asking you a question that I only half asked you the last time we met, when you were launching the repositioning of the brand with the tagline Rise, and we spoke about how business confidence, or rather confidence in big business, has sunk to a new low in India. I didn't press you then because I wanted to focus on Rise, but I am going to press you now on the kind of feedback you're getting from investors and stakeholders across the world on what they make of the several controversies we've seen regarding governance and corruption in India in the last 6-8 months.
Well, I don't think investors around the world are unfamiliar with eruptions like these, particularly given what's happened all over the West, in fact, starting way back from the Madoff episode. What we've lost essentially in India is a chance to have stood apart completely from that. We could have stood out and said, we've been through our little evolution before, and now we are in fact an emerging market with good governance and without this kind of standard fare that is being dished out everywhere. So we can't claim to stand apart, but I don't think there's any witch hunt on to say that India in any way is particularly worse off than other countries.
But do you think it's to some extent depressed the enthusiasm that maybe foreign investors had for India over the last 2 years? Because last year we were in a very sweet spot. We were amongst the few economies in the world that were growing at 6, 8, 9%. This year that sense of optimism seems considerably tempered.
No, I don't agree. I think it's not considerably tempered. If it's tempered, it's not because of the scams so much. The governance deficit that people are concerned about in India is about just getting things moving and getting things done. They want the same old reforms that we've been speaking of disinvestment to move faster, of infrastructure investment to move faster. They seem to find us being bogged down without templates to start creating, let's say, the land acquisition process in a more smooth manner, to create industry settling down in land. These are the kinds of things which I think are more concerned about when we speak about a governance deficit, not so much the scams and the scandals of the recent past.
Let me ask you a direct question. When the Neera Radia tapes came to light, what was your first reaction as to what kind of impact that will have on the kind of trust that investors, the public, repose in big business in this country?
It's clearly something of concern because, you cannot sit back and say, I managed to escape that one and so I'm okay, because you're right. When a consumer looks at this, they are only tempted to paint everyone with the same brush. So it is an industry problem, and the sooner this is dealt with in a transparent manner, the better off we all are.
Mr. Mahindra, but yet the confluence of policy and politics, I'm sure, outside of just commenting on what happened, and commenting on it as an observer, having to face it in day-to-day business, do you believe that in the last 2 or 3 years there has been an increase in political interference in policy making, and therefore doing business has become a more difficult task? I use the word difficult broadly.
As I said, I don't think I'd like to set ourselves apart because we all get painted with the same brush. On the other hand, nothing much has changed as far as we at Mahindra are concerned. We avoided businesses where there was, let's say, an apparent notoriety of rent seeking or transaction costs. We were never in major infrastructure projects, and as far as we're concerned, the businesses that we go after, which essentially are about brands, about being close to the consumer, to be frank, I don't find any particular degree of greater difficulty. If anything, I find that states moving up and trying to lure investment, and with Nitish Kumar coming in Bihar, adding one more dynamic state, trying to woo business, we have no shortage of places to go where business is facilitated and we find no impediments.
So what, you would list Bihar, Gujarat maybe, is the 2 states that seem attractive right now?
Yeah, but just yesterday the Karnataka government cleared one of our proposals for an aerospace investment. And so I'm finding that, yes, there is all this bad news and gloom and doom, but on the other hand, there are many places and many parts of industry where it's business as usual, and in fact faster than business as usual.
Okay, this is about what people think of business. What about what business thinks currently of the government setup, so to speak? We've had a recent cabinet reshuffle. There's talk of how maybe Dr. Singh, who we all considered amongst the most sort of outstanding, upstanding personalities in this country, is now facing several questions about the cleanliness of his cabinet, if I may say so, about his ability to govern. What do you make of the political situation that we have, especially with UPA 2?
I don't think Dr. Singh has changed his DNA. He's still upstanding and outstanding. What he's facing is a much greater degree of resistance in bringing about change than we had expected or hoped for. At this stage in the UPA administration, we would have hoped that things would have moved into a canter and not remained at a trot, which they seem to be. And certainly there is impatience both within Indian industry and in global investors in seeing more things happen, because otherwise this close to 9% growth that we are experiencing is not going to be sustainable unless more liberalization, more reforms are speedily attended to.
And we all